negative, right? You missed the test, so I'm bringing those. So that you can take during class today. But the other stuff, like the video and everything that you missed, is on Google Classroom. I'll give you your notes today during class. No, they're Alright, what about number 1? Josh, what did you do first on number 1?
Subtracted or 5 minus 4.
5n minus 4n, right? So that's 1n or just n? Kaylee, what'd you do from here? Alright, you wouldn't add them, you would subtract them, right? So negative 2p squared minus 4p squared would be negative 6p squared. Alright, Diego, what else could you do? There you go, just drop that down, okay, because there's nothing else to combine it with. Alright. What?
I thought it would be 5n
Minus.
Yeah.
It's 5n minus a 4n, a regular 4n. Now, if this 4n had been negative right here, then yes, it would be plus. But since it's not negative, then you don't have two negatives. No, what you're thinking about is when you put this 1 here, you go with the biggest sign. The biggest sign is positive, that's why it's positive. Alright, Brinkley, so what would 3x squared times 2xy be? Cubed y. Very good. 6x cubed y. When you multiply those bases, you add the exponent, and there's an understood 1 right there. Alright, Scotty, what would 3x squared times 3xy squared be?
9x cubed y squared.
Positive or negative? Very nice. And Oscar, what about 3x squared times 4x squared y cubed?
Well,
Very good. Positive? Okay. Very nice job, guys. Very nice. When you multiply the bases, you add those exponents. Very good. Alright, so I numbered these wrong. This is number 3. This is number 4. So sorry about that. Alright, so you've got Uptown Cable, right? And they provide, they're a TV cable provider, and they charge customers $120 for installation. So is this 120 going to change ever? No. So you got a 120, right? What do they do next? Then they plus, so I'm going to add $25 per. There's that word per. If you've had me for Algebra 1, we talked about that. That word per means to multiply or divide, okay? So for every single month, they're going to charge you $25 for a cable programming. So how do I write that in my equation? 25x. There you go. Then they're real original with their names, okay? Then you got their competition is Downtown Cable, okay? And they charge each customer $60 for installation. So is $60 going to change? No, so I'm going to put 60. And then plus, so I'm going to add $35 per month. So $35 per month means I'm going to multiply to be 35x, right? Alright, what's it say? It says, a customer who signs up with Uptown will pay the same total amount for TV cable as a customer who signs up with Downtown if each pays for installation and cable programming for how many months. So the X's, I'm going to put an X here, the X's are the months, right? So if I want to figure out when they're the same, what should I do to these two equations? Put an equal sign, there you go. Alright, Madison, what can I do first to solve for X? Alright, so that gives me 120 minus 60 is 60. Gracie, what can I do from here? Alright, so I'm going to subtract that, right? So it'll be 60 is equal to 35x minus 25x is 10x. And then, Diana, what else can I do? Alright, divided by 10. So 60 divided by 10 is 6. So that means after 6 months, they're going to pay the same amount, right? So it's going to take them 6 months to pay the same amount. Alright, what about number 4? Now, number 4, when I did this, I really overthought it, and it's a very, very simple problem. So, did anybody get an answer for number 4, Gracie? You got B, which was 80? Alright, how'd you do that? Uh-huh. So here's why I overcomplicated it. I'm like, well, these are not the same heights, right? So I'm like, well, this can't be 12. But if you complete all of this and make this square, so now you have a perfect square, right? So this whole side is how much? 20. How'd you get that? 8 plus 12, right, is 20. And this whole side is how much? How'd you get that? Because the other side was 20, right? Uh-huh. No, that's area. It wants us to find perimeter. Where did it say? Yeah, perimeter right here. And this side is 20. Because you're like, well, this side's not really there. Yes, it is. It's right down here. Okay? And this side's not really there. Yes, it is. It's right down here. Does that make sense to everybody? So you don't try to overcomplicate it because it wants perimeter. So perimeter is 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. Or somebody said 20 times 4, and that is 80. Very nice job. I seriously overcomplicated this problem when I first saw it. So, anyway. Huh? I was trying to break them up into, break them up into little squares and find exactly how much this piece was and this piece was and all that. And I'm like, well, then I was like, well, that's stupid because then that's just a square. So, I just didn't see it at first. Anyway. Alright, y'all good? Anybody lost? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go over your test, and then we are going to take a checkpoint, and then we are going to do some notes for today, okay? Yes, sir?
So is this the checkpoint that we did?
No, this is a new checkpoint, and if you missed a checkpoint, if you finish early, then you can do the checkpoint that you missed, okay? If you do not finish early, you can always come during lunch, during an elective period, during any class that you finish early, in the morning or in the afternoon, okay? Alright. Let's review these parent graphs and our perfect squares, okay? So this is the one that we're talking about big time today, is linear graphs. Linear graphs are straight lines, and the parent graph is y equals x, right? Everybody good? And if it's x squared, it's a parabola. If it's absolute value, then it's a v for value. If it's square root, thank you, gentlemen. If it's square root, then it's a half of a parabola turned sideways. And if it's 1 over x, then it's this crazy looking graph, right? Everybody good? Okay, remember, these are awesome to know for the ACT, because if you see a crazy graph and you've got, look, if you've got these 3 as answer choices and you've got a crazy graph, then you can pick your answer by, you know, and it's not absolute value, you know it's not square root, and you know it's not this crazy graph, right? Yes.
Yeah, so like before we passed this yesterday, I was like doing ACT prep work, and it was so hard, but then we passed it, and
Is that why you said the ACT would be so much easier after we did this? Didn't you say that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that why? Yeah. Yep. I thought he was too, but now I've realized
No, it was like,
he was for real.
this was like my hardest thing on ACT.
Are you taking it in September? Like, in 2 weeks? Alright. So, one thing we need to go over, and I'm going to hand out your new calendar. Need to find it. Where's that? There it is. Okay. On your new calendar, it says what we're doing on Wednesday and what we're doing on Friday. So, what are we doing on Wednesday? 1 through 15 quiz, right? So here we go. What's the first one? 1. The second one? 4. 9, 16, 25, 36, yep. 49, 64, 81, 100, 101, 102, 103, have a feature so we go with that. Because y'all just sound like robots. Y'all just sound like robots. You're like 144, 196. Alright, so that's your quiz on Wednesday, right? If you look at your calendar on Wednesday right here, it says you got a quiz on 1 through 15. Everybody good? And yesterday it says that we did 2-1, relations and functions. Today it says we're going to do 2-2. I don't think we're going to get through all that today. And you got a perfect squares test, a quiz on Wednesday. You got a perfect squares test on Friday, right? Okay, so let's try to get through as much as we can, and y'all may not have homework tonight at all. Yes, ma'am. And did you look in the folder? They should be in there. If they're not, then let me know. Alright, here we go. You ready? Let's try to get through this, and then we'll just let y'all not have homework tonight. Does that sound like a plan? Yeah. Okay. Alright, what do we know about linear equations? We talked about these yesterday. They're straight lines, that's true. What else do we know? What are their exponents? Their exponents are 1, right? Exponents are 1. What else do we know? You better read that whole sentence. Variables may not be multiplied together, right? So you cannot have x times y. Cannot. Make sure you have that word cannot. What else can we not have? We can have that. That's what they do have. What can't be in the denominator? The letter, right? So you cannot have, give me a number. 3. You can't have 3 over x. See how the variable's in the bottom? If the variable was in the bottom, it was that crazy graph that we did on the parent graphs, right? That last one, number 5. Alright, so I gave you some examples down here. So do you see how we have subtraction? And the variable is being multiplied by a constant? You see how the y is times 5, the 4 is times x? That's okay. But what you can't have is you cannot have a y to the second power or an x to the second power. That make sense to everybody? Because you see how my answer is when I solved it? My answer, I have 1 over x. Alright. So let's get down to number 1. Oh, sorry. Right here. A blank function is a function with order pairs that satisfy a linear equation, and that's a linear function. Sorry, I almost forgot that one. Alright, first thing we need to do on 1 and 2. By the way, on 2, f of x is the same as what letter? Y. It's the same as y, right? Alright, we gotta hustle. So, is this first one a function, or is it not a function? Yes, it is a function. So we put yes. It said write yes or no. Yes, because then it says explain. Alright, so we're going to explain. And why is it a function? Because you have addition and subtraction, right? Because you're multiplying a constant by a variable, okay? You have addition and subtraction. So let's write the shorthand. We have addition and subtraction. And the variable is multiplied by a constant. Constant is a number, right? 6 is a constant. 13 is a constant. 27 is a constant. What about number 2? Is that a function? No? Why? Variable in the denominator, yep. And by the way, this is page 5, so if you can't see that 5 at the bottom, just put a 5 down there, okay? And that clock is about 2 minutes fast, by the way, so. Alright, let's look on the back of this real quick. See how much we can get done today. Let's see if we can make it through 6 today. Yep. I'll probably check it tomorrow while you're doing your checkpoint, because we just don't have enough time today. All right, what about number 3? Yes or no? No. Why? Variables are multiplied together. So see the x times the y right here? That's what you can't have. Ooh, what about number 4? What? No addition or subtraction, okay. You got your graphing calculators? X is 0, right? What is this really? Remember y equals mx plus b? The b is the constant, so this is really y equals 0x plus 19. So do you want to restate that? Yes, it is a function. Yes, it is a function, because what's being multiplied by x is 0. 0 is multiplied by x. Alright, what about number 5? Remember, f of x is the same as y, right? Okay, so do we have any variables in the denominator? No. Do we have any variables being multiplied together? No. So is this... Yes, it is. Yes. We have addition and subtraction. None of my variables are multiplied together. So we're good to go. What about number 6? Yes or no? No. Exponent of 3. There you go. Alright, we'll call that a day for today, guys, and you don't have any homework? We will do that homework tomorrow during class, but we will not do it tonight for homework.
So we're just gonna do the checkpoint tomorrow, too?
We'll do the checkpoint, we'll do our homework, and then we'll try to finish this up. Yep.